Hello, it's I are Smart, and today, as you probably tell by the title, we're going to be talking about the first anime I've ever watched, Star Wars Visions. So, yeah, that's right, I've never watched an anime before this show, so yeah, I don't know, I just never got around to it, I had my friends like, oh, you should watch this anime, and watch this anime. I'm like, I don't care, I don't like anime. But then they're like, hey, we're making a Star Wars anime, and I'm like, oh, now you've piqued my interest, sir, when you put Star Wars in it. And just because I watched this doesn't mean I'm going to watch any other anime now, so don't get your hopes up, because I don't feel like it. I maybe might, but more than likely I won't. So anyway, Star Wars Visions. I bet you're all dying to know my opinion on this. So anyway, I just, like to mention, as I do whenever I review something, first part of this video I'm just going to do general talking about the whole thing, then I'm going to break down each episode and, do more spoilery sort of stuff. But, yeah, so the burning question in everyone's minds right now is, what is IRSmart's opinion on Star Wars Visions? As this show is indeed very divisive, as in people are really split over it. You have the people over here who are like, it's the greatest thing ever and I love it, and you have people over here who are like, it's anime, it's stupid, and I hate it. And, I don't know, my opinion on it, alright, you ready? My opinion? I'd say it's hit or miss. I guess they never miss. Huh? You got a boyfriend. I bet he doesn't kiss ya. Wah. He gonna find another girl, and he won't miss ya. He gonna skirt and hit... Alright, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I apologize for that dated reference, but it's been stuck in my head for like 3 years now. So anyway, yeah, it's just some of the episodes were really good, and I really liked them, and some of them were just and I didn't like them. That's just how it is. But overall, the whole thing as a whole, I like the concept of it. Basically, Disney went out to these 6 different studios that make anime. I guess I didn't bother to look into them because I'm not doing that. I wouldn't recognize anything they made anyway, so don't tell me, because I'm not going to know. Like, oh, it's so-and-so studio, which made so-and-so anime. I'm not going to know these things, so I didn't bother looking it up. Anyway, they went out to these studios and said, hey, we want 9 episodes, so give us 1 or 2 episodes, and we're going to put them on Disney+. That's what they did. So you have 9 20-minute episodes-ish. Some of them are like 13, some of them are like 25. It kind of varies, but they're right around 20 minutes. So you get like 3 hours of anime content to watch. And I watched this all on the 22nd when it came out. I took 3 hours out of my day and watched all of this in one sitting. So yeah, it was pretty neat. And I gotta say, for the most part, I enjoyed it. There were those episodes that didn't really hit for me, but the episodes that did hit, I think really, really hit. You had like some lows, but you had some really high highs. And that was just kind of it for me. And then you also had like a ton of mediocre stuff. But the ones that were good, and the ones that were bad, were bad. So yeah, it's very up and down, which I think just contributes to why people are so divided over it. It's just, you really got a ton of people just saying, oh, this is amazing, or no, it's awful, it's amazing, it's awful. Like, it's okay. It's just okay to me. But overall, I liked the whole concept of it. I liked that this show isn't canon. Because, Disney was just like, hey, don't worry about canon. It's not canon. You don't have to worry about it. So, I think that's nice. I think it's nice that they kind of, decided to go with that. It's nice, because they don't have to worry about, like, where this fits into the canon, they can just say, make up whatever characters you want, do whatever you want with them. It's like when I was like 10, I was just playing around with my Star Wars toys, and making up fictional stories about all these fictional characters that don't fit into Star Wars, and looking back on them now, they'd probably be dumb. But it was kind of like that, where you're just playing around making up all sorts of stories, doesn't matter how way far out or out there, and there are some pretty far out stuff that, like, would not fit into this, the canon, We're talking like Star Killer, like power levels and sort of things of like, this just doesn't make any sense, and there's no way it could possibly fit into the canon. But then there were other episodes where I was like, yes, this fits right into the canon. This could be its own thing, I think. And then just the art style was nice. Like, each one had its own varied art style, because it was like from a different studio. So, I thought that was cool. Like, I don't know anything about, like, anime art style. I'm not, like, some expert on this, but I thought it was cool. How they're all, like, distinct, and I thought it looked cool. The way the lightsabers looked, that was great. They looked like katanas, and katanas are really cool. So, and then they were, like, different from episode to episode. But there was just a lot of lightsabers. Like, a lot of lightsabers, and a lot of kyber crystals. And a lot of I have a bad feeling about this. I mean, I guess they kind of all wanted to do that, so everyone, like, put that in at least one of their episodes. Like, alright, we gotta make sure we say, I have a bad feeling about this. So it's in pretty much every episode. And that kind of, it's really apparent when you watch them all back to back, like, alright, this is getting kind of old. But still. Yeah, it's nice. It kind of reminds me of the What If series on Marvel that's coming out right now, because I'm watching that, and it's just kind of like, it's just taking Marvel characters and putting them in new scenarios. This is like taking Star Wars concepts and putting them in new scenarios. It's just different, and it's nice. Short little episodic things you can watch whenever. You know, I don't think you should watch all of them. You know, maybe just watch a couple of them. But you can watch all of them. Yeah, I like, just watch a couple, right? I'll give you my recommendations later. But yeah. And some of them stretch the rules a bit. The rules, you know, I guess, like, just kind of like, alright, this is getting a bit out there for me, which I'll get into when I talk about the episodes. It's just, some of the stuff was really weird. But another thing I really liked is how almost all the characters were original. There was only like a couple cameos, but almost every character in this was an original character, which was nice. It's a nice change of pace, especially like with The Mandalorian. In Season 2, it was just like every episode had a new cameo, like, hey, remember this character, like, okay, isn't this supposed to be a new thing, or are we supposed to have, like, new characters? Like, it's nice having those old characters, but we gotta have, you know, some new stuff every once in a while to keep things fresh. So that's why I think it was really nice about this series. It was very fresh, it was very new, it wasn't just, like, reference here, reference there, reference. Like, there's still a ton of references, obviously, to, like, lightsabers and stuff, because, you know, it's Star Wars, but it wasn't just, like, you know, like, they had, like, this, I don't know, I guess, especially in the sequels, there were so many constant references to, like, the original trilogy, and, like, all these old characters they had to be bringing back. I don't know, it was just nice to have new stuff, if that makes sense. Also, sound effects and music were really good. I mean, obviously, it's Star Wars, it's gonna have good music and sound effects. I don't know who did the composing. I don't know if it was one guy for all the episodes, or, like, each one had their own. But the music was nice. I liked it. In some of the episodes, it hit really good. Especially the Asian sort of influence it had was nice and distinct, and it stood out. Kind of like how The Mandalorian has a theme that's very distinct from, like, the normal Star Wars theme. The music in this series is very distinct and unique, which I liked. I really liked that. So, yeah. And just, you know, they had, like, Japanese culture stuff, which, again, I'm not that familiar with, but I was like, oh, that looks like a building from Japan? Yeah, that looks like a building in Japan, but it's in Star Wars. Yeah, that's cool. Or that outfit looks Japan. It looks anime. I don't know what the terminology here, guys. I don't know anything about any of this, but anyway, yeah, it was just it kind of felt like I was on death sticks, if I'm being honest. Like, maybe it was just because I was watching it all at once and I was just starting to, like, hallucinate or something. I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like, because some of the stuff was just like, woof. It was just so much stuff happening. It really did feel like a death stick trip at points, but overall it was okay. You know, the episodes that were good, and I'd say they were worth it. It was worth going through the bad episodes to get to the couple good episodes. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on it. Now I'm going to talk about episodes individually. So first off, we have episode 1. This might be my favorite episode, if I'm being honest, because it was just really good. I liked that it was black and white, and you just had these bright streaks of color. Oh, that was so cool. I didn't like it at first, but then once we got into it, it's so cool. I liked the antagonist. You had, like, these guys in, like, makeshift stormtrooper armor, or like, leftover stormtrooper armor, kind of like the guys from Resistance, but nobody watched Resistance, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it was cool. It was cool like that. Then you have, like, the lightsaber umbrella that, like, spins around and it goes... Honestly, insane. I love the main character guy was so cool. Just so, like, you know, just like so, just doesn't talk. Such like a stoic kind of guy. Honestly, he was so cool. Just a cool guy. Like, that's just what he's supposed to be. You know, he like sheathes his lightsaber like a katana and goes like psh, 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 psh. It was so cool. Loved all that. And you have all like the droid with a cannon, and like the Tusken Raider, and like the Trandoshan going like psh, psh. It was so cool. So much action in that episode. It was really great. I think it was just... And overall, the other thing, like, you have, like, I need this droid ready by the time this pot boils. I loved that. I don't know why. I loved that. It was so cool. But yeah. However, after that, the next episode was just kind of like, eh. At the beginning, it was like, oh, cool, droids and clones. We're getting, like, some prequel stuff. And you have, like, this Padawan running away. And then it just turns into a rock band. I mean, they had good music, but then it was like, oh, cool, it's Boba Fett. You know, Tamara Morrison's here. And Jabba's here. And those are, like, the only two cameos, besides, like, Jabba's entourage was also, like, cameos. But for the most part, that was, like, the only, like, pre-existing Star Wars stuff. Almost everything else was original. So, cool. And just, like, I don't know, the music was cool, but other than that, I didn't like that episode. 3 was my least favorite episode. I hated episode 3 so much in this series. It was just awful. I did not like it at all, which is weird because I heard so many people, like, raving about this episode, especially IGN. I hate IGN in the first place, but they were like, this is a 9, this is the greatest episode, I love this one so much. It's the worst, and I hate it. It's called The Twins. You got these twins, and they're like, we are dark side twins, and we've been bred from the dark side, and we use the dark side because we're on the dark side, and we really like the dark side, so we're going to use this dark side crystal and use our dark side powers on our dark side Star Destroyer to be on the dark side. And then you have the one twin's like, no, I'm going to be on the light side, and then you have the dark side one who's like, no, we're supposed to be dark side. You're supposed to be dark side with me. It was so dumb, I hated it. And then you just had them go out in space. Like, what? Like, they can just breathe in space? And you have, like, the girl, like, has lightsabers that, like, are, like, tentacles and, like, wrap around and stuff? Like, what? What is this? Like, I get, again, this is non-canon, but this is just going kind of far, in my opinion. And then, of all things, you have this droid. This droid was in, like, at the beginning of the episode, the droid's like, yes, this is the Gemini Star Destroyer. It uses powers from the dark side using this power crystal that you obviously would know about, but I'm going to explain it because the audience doesn't know. You have all this exposition, which was just annoying to me. Then this droid just comes back at the end, flying around in space. He has a helmet on! Because he needs oxygen, apparently? Like, what? What? Why does he need that? Why does why do the humans not need that to breathe in space? Why does the droid need it? The droid doesn't need oxygen. Why do you need give him a spacesuit? Oh, I hated that episode so much. And then just the conclusion is like, I'm gonna turn into the light side eventually. You mark my words, Mr. Droid, that can just fly an X-Wing around and, like, you know, just hyperspace into her, and somehow that, like, that was, like, violent. He, like, hyperspaced, holding his lightsaber and, like, cut her in half, but, like, didn't cut her in half because it just destroyed the kyber. I hated episode 3 so much. It was the worst. It was so stupid. Don't watch that one. Just save yourself the time and don't watch it unless you want to be really upset. It's honestly like Rise of Skywalker level of just, oh my goodness, it's so stupid, I hate it. But episode 4, what was episode 4? Oh yeah, this was cool actually, I liked this one. It was really slow, but at the end it got cool. You know, you got like this bucket head guy with literally just a trash can on his head, and he's going around talking to this mysterious, definitely not a Jedi girl, and she turns out to be a Jedi at the end, big surprise. You got this absolute simp guy, who's just, like, you know, carrying his bride on his back. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna carry you all the way there. And he just carries her around. And they get married, and it's like, oh, I don't remember what the plot was. I don't care. It was a boring episode, but it was cool. It was alright. It was definitely better than 3. Let's see, what was 5? Oh yeah, this was a weird one. You had, like, all these Jedi that were like, alright, we're all gonna rebuild the Jedi Order. You had, like, this slingshot thing that, like, just reached up and grabbed asteroids from space and then pulled them back down to the planet. That was cool. You had this guy making lightsabers, and you like a smith, and he had like a race up to space to get this thing. And then it's like, oh no, all these Jedi are actually Sith, and they were hiding among the Jedi, and now we gotta fight them. And then it was like, oh, that's cool. The different lightsabers were nice. Again, lightsabers. So many flippin' lightsabers in this series, and just so many weird things they did with lightsabers. But it was cool. It was cool, I'll say that. And then, I don't know, this episode was cool, I guess. But, overall, What was episode 6? The Jedi? Robot Jedi? That was cool. The style was, I really liked the art style on that one. It was very distinct. Very cool, I liked it. There was an Inquisitor that showed up. That was cool. However, I find it bullcrap that the robot was able to defeat him. And then, I don't know, all the other... I didn't really like that one, to be honest. It was cool, but, What else? 7. I really liked 7. This was the one with, like, this creepy old guy who's like a Sith, but not really a Sith because he left the Sith. This one had, like, very distinct lightsabers, and I think it could fit into the canon, honestly. If you just put it, like, say 1,000 or so years before Phantom Menace, I think it fits perfectly into the timeline of just, like, them having to fight, like, this guy who left the Sith. And he was cool. He was kind of creepy. But, like, you have the Master and the Padawan. I thought they had a fun dynamic. I thought it was entertaining to watch them go around, and then, like, the Padawan almost dies, and then, like, the Master, like, defeats the old guy, and then he turns into dust for some reason. I don't know. I thought this episode was really good. I can't describe why it was good. I just liked it. It was fun. Episode 8, I don't know. I kind of liked this episode. It just seemed like it didn't really go anywhere. It was cool. And also it had a furry in it, which definitely brings the episode down a bit. But, I don't know, it was really emotional. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was probably the most emotional episode. I didn't, like, cry or anything, because I don't get emotional. But it was the only one that actually was, like, where I was actually watching it, and I was like, huh, this is mildly emotional. And that's all I really felt about it. Look, I'm reading off my notes here. I noted here that this was the most emotional episode. So, I don't know why I thought that on Wednesday. I guess because I was getting late into the night and I was getting like, oh, this is so emotional, man. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, this was a cool episode, I guess. There's also like the Darkseid girl who just like decides, you know what, I'm gonna leave my family because I hate having a furry as a stepsister, so I'm gonna go join the Empire, which is cool, you know. I mean, hey, if whatever gets you to join the Empire, you know, whatever floats your goat. She does this thing where she like bites her thumb and like puts paint on her eyes, which is cool, but it wouldn't work. It definitely wouldn't be as red as it was. It would just turn brown very quickly, and you'd have eyes that had like poopy on them. So, you know, you could have just used like lipstick. It would have gotten the same effect, or any other kind of makeup. But whatever, you know, you have to do your red eye thing. Anyway, this episode was still kind of cool. You know, I feel like if it could have been expanded more, it would have been better. But that kind of goes for all the episodes. If these would have been longer episodes, they could have done so much more, and I think they would have been better, to be honest. So, the really shortness of these episodes was very limiting. Except for the first one. The first one did really well with the short amount of time it was the first one did really well with the short amount of time it was given. Jeez, I can't speak. Anyway, again, that's probably why I think the first one is the best one. So, the final episode was super disappointing for me. It had a really good art style. Honestly, it was really, again, really distinct. As I mentioned before, they all had distinct art styles, but this one really stood out to me. But it didn't really go anywhere. I couldn't even tell you the plot. There was like a guy who was with some other guys. They were going to a temple or something, and there was a Darkseid lady who was like, join me, and then the main character was just like, okay. And then it's implied he had like visions or something, but they didn't explain what those were, and it was just like, okay. And I guess he's on Darkseid now, and then he just leaves this girl he was with the whole time. The heck, man, you're supposed to, like, be the good guy and not join the dark side, but whatever. I think the dark side's cooler anyway, but, like, from the point of view of this show, it didn't make any sense. So, good for you, join the dark side. That's the message, anyway. But, yeah, that's just the end of the series. And overall, I don't know. After I think about each episode, my opinion of the series as a whole goes down. But, looking at the series as a whole, I just like it, because I thought the concept was fun. And, you know, in execution, maybe they could have done better. And if they ever do this again, I think there's definitely room to improve. But I don't know. It was a fun series. It was nice to have something like this, you know? Where it's just something not canon, they can just screw on, do whatever they want. So it was nice. And I think they should consider doing it again. Because it'd be fun. You know, maybe get some more studios to do the thing. So anyway, that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want my recommendations on which episodes to watch, if you just want a quick version, just watch like one definitely watch. 2, you can maybe watch it if you feel like it. It's kind of cool. It's got decent music. 3, don't watch unless you really hate yourself. 4 is okay. I'd recommend it. 5 is pretty good, but not that good. 6, it's skippable, to be honest. 7 is really good. Watch 7. 8 is okay. I'd recommend watching it. 9 you really don't have to watch. Nothing happens. You're not missing anything. So that's about it. That's Star Wars Visions for you. I hope you enjoy this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.